The concept of self-defense dates all the way back to the year 1066, long before America was even a thought or people even knew about the New World. It's English common law. If someone points a gun at you, they didn't have guns back then, but if some knight pulled his sword on you, you have the right to defend yourself with deadly force. It gets murky when your life is not in immediate danger. Here's the headline. Customer who shot robber in taco shop could face charges through grand jury. The robber was armed. It's the case in Houston where a man shot and killed a would-be robber in a taco shop. He could face charges through a grand jury. Here's what happened. The robber enters and points a gun at everybody. You can see the robber right there. He goes through one by one and takes their money. At this point, everyone agrees he's fair game. Self-defense for anybody in there. What happens next, though, is important. The robber turns his back and starts to walk out of the store, and that's when one of the customers gets out of the booth. You heard a series of shots, and then you heard a final 9th shot. And this is a picture of where the customer was, the Good Samaritan, when he fired that last shot. And if you look closely, you can notice he's already picked up the robber's gun as it laid on the floor. He had picked up the robber's gun. This case is now the center of gun rights and self-defense debates in America. Here's how an activist in Houston responded to seeing the video.
He had a right to defend himself. He had a right to protect himself. He had a right to use deadly force, but he went beyond that. And he stood over that young man and pumped bullets after bullets after bullets into him.
Standing over him as we watch the video, and we won't play the video in its entirety because you don't do that of somebody being shot like that. But to be fair, it appears as though he only stood over him for one shot. Either way, Kenneth Williams knows a lot more about this than I do. Lawyer and professor at South Texas College of Law in Houston, author of Criminal Law, Concepts, Crimes, and Defense. Well, we will submit to the judge that you are an expert, and the judge has declared you an expert here, sir. It is good to see you. Thank you. Texas law is unique. It's broad when it comes to self-defense. But when the robber doesn't have a gun anymore, does that change things?
It certainly could change things, especially with respect to the 9th shot, as you pointed out. At that point, the customer had the gun. And so under Texas law, the issue is, was there any immediate threat? And that's certainly going to be an issue that the grand jury is going to have to resolve. When he fired that 9th shot, the customer was in possession of the gun. So who was the immediate threat at that point?
Well, let me ask it this way, and it may in the end be a jury that decides this, right? But if you point a gun at me and I shoot, you know, you're taught, even police are taught, to keep shooting until the threat is neutralized. You shoot center mass. If you're going back and I'm still shooting, you may not be a threat as you're falling down. At what point is the Good Samaritan or the customer, whatever you want to call him, required to rethink whether or not you're a clear and present danger?
Well, the shooter, certainly in that situation that you described, has some leeway. But in this situation, I guess the grand jury is going to have to resolve whether or not the robber had been completely neutralized. And the fact that the customer reached over and obtained the gun, and the fact that the robber had been shot 7 times previously or 8 times previously, I think that's all going to be something that's going to be considered by the grand jury. One of the things I would point out, though, is that we don't know exactly when the robber died. So let's say the medical examiner says that he died after the 7th shot, then it kind of makes the issue moot, because you can't, if somebody's dead, then you can't have a murder charge if somebody's already dead.
That's fascinating. That's why you're an expert in criminal defense law. I had not thought of that. This is the mother. It says here the mother of the victim. I'm not sure we can call him a victim yet. Mother of the would-be robber. Take a listen.
What he did, I don't condone. I don't. And I know when you do something wrong, there's a chance you could die. I understand that. But for him to be shot 4 times in the back leaving, and when he falls down and he shoots him 4 more times, He abused him. He was dead already, and that hurt.
She said what you said. He was dead already. Now, she's not a medical examiner, but there's a point to be made there. Thanks for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to subscribe. Click the red button to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.